Well, we are the awakening world, which means we're on the edge of evolution, evolving into this beautiful new, whatever you want to call it, fifth dimension, awakened world, evolved people. And one of my favorite evolutionary leaders is Scarlett. And of course, she's been on the show many times in different capacities. And tonight, we're going to talk to Scarlett about two things. We're going to ask her about tonight's topic, the science of creating miracles, because she certainly has created some amazing miracles in her life. And then, of course, we're going to learn about an amazing event that I'm looking forward to attending, called The Edge of Evolution. So, welcome back to the Awakening World, Scarlett.
Oh, thank you so much, Scott. Thank you for having me here. It's an honor, and I'm just delighted to be back in this space. And it also is this time of year where so many new things are unfolding so rapidly. So it's an exciting time to be gathering, and it's an important time to be talking about these subjects that we are discussing today as well.
And it's Independence Day. And there's no greater form of independence than really feeling comfortable and free to manifest. Um, and I think that one of the things that I love learning from you, and I've learned so much from you, from the Edge of Evolution group that I've been attending for what, 6 months now, 9 months? How long have
Mhm.
you been doing it? Um, you are always helping us to expand our consciousness, expand our awareness. And that expansiveness is true freedom. That is true independence.
Mm.
So thank you. I've learned a lot
Yeah.
from you and through you. And I want to,
Thank you for being there.
my pleasure. So, what are some of your tips, tools, and practices for manifesting, for creating miracles in your life?
Ooh, okay. Tips and tools for manifesting. Um, I used to focus a lot on manifesting like it was something to do. And I think I had a shift a couple of years ago, maybe a few years ago, that started to change my perspective a little bit, that it was less about me doing or even me like, holding, getting to a frequency or holding faith or some, one of those things, and more about really resting into what was already true in relationship with all things, the relationship of all things that is always existing at all times in all directions. And when I started to kind of surrender myself to that greater contextual reality and the aliveness of it, it started to shift my capacity to allow, I guess, the field itself, the unified field, all that is, to participate in my livingness in more intricate and more specific and more potent ways. And so I remember, I guess I can talk about a time very specifically that I remember having an experience where I watched kind of this spot in my body, my physical body, figuratively open up. And I saw this like capsule, like a capsule area. And I imagined that something that was potentially possible out in the, what we would call manifest reality was uh could be incubated there. And I imagined that I invited this thing to be incubated in this little capsule. And something said to me, like this little like angelic whisper, like, it's not that much different than being pregnant. And because I had at that time had a daughter, and I remember thinking in that moment, yeah, that's funny because if somebody came up to me when I was pregnant and said, yeah, whatever, that's not real. Like, there's no baby in there. You're not gonna have a baby. Like, sorry, like, or that's just crazy. Like, woo, you think there's a life growing in there? Yeah, whatever. Anybody could say or think anything, and it couldn't remotely negate that it was happening or how I was going about tending to its becoming. And so when I paralleled that and I thought about this like encapsulated space inside of me where I was like, perhaps housing some potential. I then wanted to do that even more so, and it shifted in my mind from being faith, what I used to think about as faith, to get myself on board with an idea or get or tune into a frequency or whatever so that I could like maybe get there or maybe match it. It was not any doing. It was like, no, 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 allow the thing that's already feels true, like my highest delight and desire inside and that which could also already be true outside to have a home in the 3D, in this interdimensional being, so that if it can rest in me and incubate in me, and I can say to everything else around me, I don't care what you think. 7.999 billion people could look at me and be like, well, that's not true. That's not going to happen. Like, doesn't matter. It's alive in me. I'm holding it. I'm incubating it. It's doing its thing. Like this is my whole thing I'm doing right now is growing this in me and then allowing it to come through in its expression. Because that was the other piece that I saw is like when you have a baby, you didn't actually get to pick like what, how it was all woven together. You were the like the housing mechanism to bring it through. And so I'm like, oh, okay, embodied faith in that moment took on this whole other life to me. And I started to see things as much more participatory and that the things that could be brought into manifest reality, my contribution to that was embodiment, but also my contribution to that was tapping into my highest delight, really being able to get to that thread that's like, what do I love? What do I desire? When I sit on the edge of possibility and I wonder, what could things be like? What do I hope? Bringing definition to that is part of how I contribute to this all around me because all the waveforms, they're dancing in all directions at one time. They need some specificity to be able to land and come through. So when I tap into my highest delight, the waveforms get to play through me when I've landed in my specificity of that moment of highest delight. And now that contribution is like, oh, I found that and I'm doing my embodiment work. Come on and come play. And then there we have some manifest reality. So,
Scarlett, I love that.
so.
I really got that. Um, that's beautiful. I'm going to actually make a little segment out of that for everybody because that's a great tool. Really imagining that whatever it is we are visioning, longing for, imagining that we're pregnant with it and just letting it gestate inside of us. I love that.
Mm.
It's also a very part of my interpretation of what I heard is that you shifted from a more masculine way of make it happen, penetrate into more of the divine feminine of receptive, receive it and nurture it and let it grow inside of me, which is a much more feminine way of creating as opposed to the maybe the old school, I call it the old Tony Robbins, make it happen way,
It's
which is
okay to make
wonderful.
things happen. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
wonderful. It's wonderful. But as you're describing your next step of evolution, I think that's beautiful.
I think that in this side of things, on this side of veil, as it were, there are some things for us to like go do. But when we do the go do, we're working with the things that have already come down all the way to this dimension. And so it's like, now what is that work to do? Now what is the stuff that needs to be carried out? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to cut up the apple in these little pieces and squeeze lemon juice on it and give it to my daughter because in this kind of version of reality, that's how I can do the fullness of the thing that's left to do right here. But not everything is that. And so when we're just talking about our participation with the unified field itself or with the all that is, like there's an awful lot there that we get to tap into when we allow ourselves to move into the feminine, so that all those expressions can be exponential. And then when we come back down here and we want to do the very maybe more tedious or more masculine things, we actually have a lot more to work with.
Right, right. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, just before we came on, you also gave a wonderful tool, which I'd love for you to share. Do you remember what you were sharing beforehand?
Which one?
Um, it was what led into the into creating miracles. Oh my God.
I don't remember.
Oh my God.
Um,
And it was so brilliant. And that's why I said, okay, we remembered it. She
okay,
remembered
so
it. Scarlett remembered it.
it took a second. Yeah, so the thing we were talking about just before is was like a vision that I had in the middle of my lessons. I was really learning about money, actually, abundance and money, and how there's this big energetic shift happening around that on our planet right now. And in the vision, I saw the a cup, like each of us as a vessel in a cup. And I saw that in nature, it actually is not a natural, nature is abundant. Like I always say, we are all abundance on a planet of all abundance and a cosmos of all abundance, and anything that's reflecting less than that back to us is incomplete. Um, However, it is not a natural inclination to take a an abundant outpouring and pour it into a leaky vessel. And I watched this in all these like play out in all these natural environments, and I was like, that is really true. Like there's symbiosis occurs naturally and reciprocity occurs naturally. But really, if I was walking around with a container at a party and I wanted to like fill everybody's glass, and I saw that someone's glass had a hole in the bottom of it, the natural tendency would be to pull back and go like, "Oh, did you know that that's like leaking from the bottle?" As much as I would want the person to have a full glass, the whole goal would be stop the glass from leaking, not fill the glass. And
Mhm.
so, in terms of our own capacity to be those that our cup runneth over and to be the perpetuators of abundance as the vessels that we came to on the planet, how much is it our work first to learn how to energetically, at all these layers of being, not be the leaky vessel? And then be able to answer, what does that mean? Because there's a lot of connotation to it in our society around like, if I hold goodness, or if I hold something that's come to me, if I learn how to receive and then I hold something that's come to me, is that bad, negative, greedy? Where's the line between that and hoarding or whatever, which it might be obvious to some people, but there's a lot to work through in that says, how do we, each and every one of us, do our work about wherever we're being leaky in our energetics so that we can be an appropriate vessel for the all abundance that we are and that wants to flow through us.
Such great wisdom. Thank you. And thanks for remembering that and sharing it. Thank you.
Happy to.
Well, there's an opportunity for us to get a lot more of Scarlett and some of her favorite colleagues, and that is this upcoming Edge of Evolution event. Scarlett, tell us about what's happening in August.
Yeah, so in August, I'm really excited to bring this to this space, so the Global Peace Tribe. I have been trickling out there to some friends and talking about it really quietly, secretively on social media, saying there's an event, like contact me if you want to know about it. But it's happening at 1440 Multiversity in August 13th through 16th of this year. And it is happening in it. I want to caveat it with something because it didn't happen overnight. It's not like people planned an event and then all of a sudden, here we go, we popped up an event, come to it. This was done through sitting in meditation over like the course of a year and having 1440 come up as a space in that a bunch of people going to visit, meeting with the tree. There's a mother tree there that's over 1,000 years old. I didn't even know during any of that time that that tree had been calibrated with his name Falco at Dominher and a whole group of people that were being in service to the trees as a grouping of what ended up being 30 million trees coming kind of back into alignment for collaboration. I don't know how else to say it, collaboration during this time, like for this time that we're going through right now. And that happened 14 years ago this August. And then 7 years ago, this August, there was another event that happened there at 1440, also with the trees, that had to do with different kinds of a different edge of evolution at that time. Nassim Harriman was there, a bunch of people, they did art crystals in the water, a bunch of the scientists and different groups in the consciousness space had gathered. And that happened there at that time. And so now the running joke is that the trees are actually the one who are keeping the schedule because they've been calling humans there every 7 years. Like, this is what we're doing. And we didn't set the dates either. 1440, when we called them and asked about what we could do during the year of 2026, they offered us this set of dates. It happens to also be over the eclipse window.
Wow.
And so here we are in service, literally. But if you have been feeling like maybe humanity is at this cusp of the edge of evolution right now, things are changing a lot, and that we have a role in that. We have a part to play, and we want to both explore what it is that's available to us as our capacities increase, our perception abilities increase, and we also want to increase our own abilities and capacities to be present, fully present, to do field coherence, to tend the fields, that all of this vast capacity building is going to happen within, then Edge of Evolution is probably exactly for you. And so I'll screen share for a second to show a little bit about the event. Oh, how do I do that here? Give me a second. I have to be able to do it with two screens. Go ahead, Scott. Sorry.
Yeah, no, just have it up on your desktop and then go to screen share and you'll be good.
Here we go. All right, so this is it. Edge of Evolution, an immersive journey in the redwoods. Time to pause. So presence is going to go before us here at this event. Coherence and tending the field of coherence will go before us as well. This isn't just about like running out and like spoon bending and like doing blindfolded sight and all those things, although you very well may. There's people that lead those things there. But it really is about doing the deeper weaving of what's going to help our species capacity to expand in right relationship at this time. So you can see here, why now, why this, why us? This is a moment that's asking us to stabilize in this expansion.
And one of the things that I picked up in talking with you and Teresa Collins is it's not so much about this speaker at 1 o'clock and the speaker at 4 o'clock, but much more of everybody who's there participating, connecting, conversing. It's a different
Yes.
structure than normal.
That's so correct. Yeah, we say no sages on stages. So this is like just all of us together. Now there's going to be people helping with facilitation, but even with that, like the main stage and the main gathering hall is being turned into an altar, and the configurations of seating is all going to be circular. And anybody who's helping, which there's never just going to be one person, would be interspersed with people around the space. And then there will be a choose your own adventure arc. So for that part of us that is feeling like giddy, like little kids about exploring our own capacities at the edge of evolution and what that might mean, then there are different little things we can break off and go explore. And each person's journey will be their own, certainly not separate from the trees, because the trees will be part of that. The little Dom and her machines are going to be there so that the trees can sing while people walk by, and they'll change their tune, according to who's there. And so, yeah, the choose your own adventures. Here's some of the people that are coming. Each person who's coming is also participating and contributing to the container, right? So everybody's bringing something that is their own weaving. These are some of our community leaders in different spaces, and the invitations have been extended to them to invite their communities as well. And of course, that beautiful, beautiful redwood forest that we see there.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
And I
my screen
saw a
still
lot of
going.
our favorite people, Global Peace Tribe wise, Julie Kroll, Teresa Collins, Marshall Efforts, who's been on recently. So just a
Yeah.
lot of really wonderful souls will be there.
Yeah, and some gorgeous music and art curation. The things that are coming in service to this are just so beautiful. It is that outpouring. It is all over the out of this spirit of abundance and really bringing who we are to this moment fully, and doing that in right relationship and doing that in a new order of sequencing. I mean, there's nothing's right up next to each other on the schedule. Everything is spaced 30 minutes apart. I've
Mhm.
never seen a schedule like that before. That is like, you go to something and then there's a 30-minute gap. It's so that there can be this spaciousness, so that we learn how to find our breath and pause and stillness, so that all the things that are waiting to happen in the subtle realm have room to do that, to come to life. So we have put together special for Global Peace Tribe and Awakening World a special contribution code to contribute $444 towards the tickets of anyone who comes through this group. And I have sent that all over your way, Scott, so we can make that available to everybody today. And also, we've set up the pricing in a way. 1440 is not a cheap place to be. It's all inclusive. It's a state-of-the-art facility. It's a fancy schmancy place to be, but they contributed to us, so we were able to bring a large amount off of the pricing. And also, we set it up on a very wide range of pricing scales. So there's contributions that can be made all the way up to $8,800 for a suite if somebody is like in that sponsor capacity, and that helps to offset the pricing of tickets in the scholarship range, and then all the way down to scholarship tickets that come in at 2444 for the 4 days. And so all of that is online, and you can click on whatever works best for you. Reach out to us if you have any questions or if you are in need of any other assistance in any way, and we are really happy to help and accommodate. If you know that you're supposed to be there, let us know. We want to hold this field in coherence, and we want to be with these trees with you.
Beautiful. You said it quickly, but for people who don't know what you meant by the Dom and her ability to hear from the trees, can you just describe what that is? Because some people may not
Oh
know.
yeah. I mean, yeah, in general, I feel like when I was little, I used to have this hope, this wish, I don't know where it came from, but I would always be like, I wish I had a grandmother who would go out to take me out to like a field and make me like crouch down with her. And she'd wait till like a little rabbit hopped across and she'd say something like, consider the rabbit. Like this is what you can learn from the rabbit. The rabbit teaches us this, this, and that. I remember yearning for this. I'm like, I wish that I had that in my life. And I think what I learned from working with many Native American and First Nations communities in my later years was that everything is medicine and everything is our teacher. And so when we do decide that we're just going to change our listening ever so slightly and lean in to what the rabbit might be saying or what the tree might be saying, we do learn. There is something to be listened to there. So it isn't that we need to, imagine that the trees grow mouths and begin talking, although there's nothing wrong with that either, if that's where your imagination goes. But it is more that the trees they're always playing their part in this greater sphere of things. And we couldn't possibly know what the whole spectrum of that role is, but they do. And so, if we tune in and align a little and allow them to share with us by not because they overtly are speaking in a human way and we're anthropomorphizing them, but because our listening has deepened and become sensitive enough to receive the truth of their essence and what they're doing and being the whole time, like that is really listening to the trees. That's really being a responsible steward of the fact that we're interdimensional beings, because it's putting us in a position to then take into consideration the roles of all the stakeholders that are in this environment with us. So we get to do that in a place where there's a very, very ancient tree who holds the codes of all those years where it stood. That goes way beyond what a tree might hold who's been there, 60 years or even 100 years. It's seen the rise and fall of different eras of what humans have brought, of what how oceans have changed. I don't know, whatever, how species have come and gone. I don't know what's happened during that time. But for us to be able to be with that level of what that tree stood present for while it was going through its process is a big deal. It feels like a big deal to me. And when Dom and Her did the calibration, it was essentially Falco being in service to the greater connectedness of all things by paying attention to what the role of the trees might be in the grander scheme, and there being maybe perhaps you could call it a certain preparedness of the trees in that area on the earth. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but when you go to a place, places can feel different. Places can hold energetics differently. Like if I go to this city or this, other city or this place in the middle of nowhere or this particular hill or something, there can be things that just feel different about it because land is has its own dynamics for what it stands for, perhaps its role that it does, but certainly its energy. So that's what we're looking at here is this very special redwood forest that has been up to something wonderful for a very long time. And people all over the world, because Dominher was in Italy, by the way, people all over the world um, were connecting with it on purpose for this purpose, which is that for such a time as this, we could be stewards of consciousness and this change that is upon us for the best and highest good.
We could have a whole conversation about Damanhur because it is quite an extraordinary talk about edge of evolution. Damanhur is very much on the edge of evolution, and
Oh, yeah.
and for anyone who doesn't know, we won't go into a lot, but there are even people who claim that they've experienced time travel while at Damanhur. It's definitely a very extraordinary community where fascinating and interesting things are happening. And the
Yeah.
Redwood Forest in August is going to be where I look forward to being with you, Scarlett, and hopefully many of our Global Peace Tribers can join us. Happy Independence Day. I know you have a daughter who's waiting for you right now.
Yeah.
So thank her and your little dog for letting me have some time with you. And thank you for
Oh,
these
thank you.
wonderful tools and practices. And I look forward to my next connection with you.
Oh, me too, Scott. Thank you so much, and blessings to everybody who's here.
Take care.